Things are a little slow at Avengers Mansion. Captain America has been telling stories from the war to Hawkeye, Pietro, and Wanda.
Your story about Red Skull was quite a spellbinder, Cap.
I told it just as it happened.
But as Private Steve Rogers, didn't you get into trouble when you changed your identity to Captain America?
Remember, Wanda, Army intelligence knew that Captain America and Private Rogers were one and the same.
In my comic collecting days, I was only able to get my hands on one or two Captain Americas from the Golden Age, but the sergeant who had to deal with Private Steve Rogers spent most of the war trying to figure out where that lazy gold brick was and how he kept squirming his way out of formal charges. It made for some great moments. In the Avengers comics, Steve sometimes related these stories too, so I can't remember which source this came from. But one of my favorite scenes, the Sarge is dressing down Private Rogers again, or still as the case may be. He tells him, "Start marching and don't stop until you're told." About that time, the base commander's daughter comes wandering by and notices the beautiful flowers that the Sarge has been cultivating. Unfortunately, their conversation is right in Steve's path, and the Sarge hasn't told him to stop, so he plows right into the Sarge and knocks him down on the whole bit. It was a lot funnier the way he told it.
You fool! The final battle has not been fought. The fruits of victory shall be mine.
The Red Skull has been on his mind a lot recently, and he's not sure why. He flips back to their final encounter. As he closed in, the Red Skull decided to throw a grenade.
He's still alive.
I'm not beaten yet. My invincible sleepers will carry on for me.
Sleepers?
Even now, they lay hidden somewhere in Europe, waiting for the signal 20 years from now.
Why 20 years? Because he said so. And besides, now Cap realizes why all this has been tickling his mind. 20 years from that day is right now. He took a box that the Red Skull had been guarding carefully.
At last I know what it contains. A list of agents, each given the task of awakening a sleeper on the day of the signal.
He only just opened it? Where was it while he was frozen? Most important, why didn't he look at that list 20 years ago and pick those people up then? It would have saved the whole mess that's coming, because now he's a little late. All three agents and their cohorts are at work waking these sleepers.
Listen, sounds like footsteps.
No footsteps can be so loud.
The sleepers can. Out of the sleeper box. There is no way to stop it.
It's a giant robot, and it's impervious to just about anything. Bullets, bombs, even Cap's shield can't stop it. Those pincers have some kind of zappers in them that can destroy a house, a tank, you name it. Some ways away, the second sleeper has been awakened.
An awesome object, which can only be the second sleeper. Like a gigantic devil bat, it casts its sinister shadow over the helpless countryside below as it skims through the silent skies on its mission of menace.
Meanwhile, Captain America has a bad habit of getting to the locations after the sleepers have already left. There's nothing he can do but watch the whole thing unfold.
Some sort of enormous flying object skimming over that town.
First the explosion. Now this. That can only be the second sleeper. It's no more alive than the first sleeper, but its powers are staggering. Those twin horn-like objects are emitting some sort of powerful force, uprooting trees, tossing houses about like a tornado.
Just think, if you had opened that box a little sooner, it's possible none of this would have happened.
I was right. The two deadly behemoths are now irrevocably linked together. Only the Red Skull could have conceived such a mind-staggering plan. The first sleeper is far more menacing than ever, for he's actually gained the power of flight.
Or at least found a way to borrow the power of flight. There's a big cradle-type structure on top of the second sleeper. It's not hard to suss out that the third one is going to go there. Speaking of which, here it comes.
gigantic mechanical head, which seems to resemble the Red Skull himself.
You didn't think he'd make it look like someone as mundane as Hitler, did you? The Red Skull rose in power so quickly and thoroughly, even Adolf was afraid of him. My memory is a little faulty here, but I think one time Der Fuhrer even tried to have him assassinated. He became the power behind the throne, and Hitler amounted to not much more than a figurehead. So why would he make this thing look like a has-been instead of making it into a monument to himself?
Rises upwards, propelled by powerful high-pressure air fans, there to await the coming of the other two sleepers. And then, high in the sky, the final linkage takes place.
And Cap thinks he knows what the end game is here.
I hope I'm wrong, General, but unless I miss my guess, that third sleeper, in the shape of a sinister steel head, is really a gigantic bomb.
Even if you're correct, what can one bomb do against all our armed might?
It's done pretty well against your armed might so far without a bomb, so I suggest you rephrase the question.
The Red Skull always threatened that if he couldn't conquer the world, he would destroy it.
With one bomb? How, man?
Remember, his sleepers have the power of flight, as well as enough force rays to fend off any attack we can make. That means it has the power to reach whatever objective it was programmed for. Notice how it's been heading on a course due north? What if its ultimate goal is the North Pole itself?
Yeah, so the plan is to melt the ice cap or what?
Think of the awesome possibilities. Once over the pole, its rays could blast a path down to the very center of the Earth. Then when the sleeper reaches its goal, the unbearable heat at the planet's core would cause the bomb to ignite, setting off an endless chain reaction of atomic explosions that would finally cause the entire surface of the Earth to shatter like an eggshell.
Why does it have to go to the North Pole to do that? Start digging at the Marianas Trench. You have a nice head start. But regardless of where it goes, Cap doesn't intend to let it start digging.
I have a plan. All I need is this flamethrower and a lot of luck. Stand back, sir. One chance is all I'll get. Open bomb bay doors. Hold course due north. We're on target. Geronimo!
He gets the flamethrower lit and directs it at a certain spot on the third sleeper.
Can I hurl myself to safety before the end comes? There! It's beginning to sputter. The next 2 seconds will show whether I failed or...
Don't ask me why that worked. Don't ask Cap either, because he's not telling. As plans for destroying the world go, this one is just goofy. For one thing, the Red Skull survived into the 60s the same way Captain America did, suspended animation. So if his plan had succeeded, he would have blown himself up too. Not to mention, if his plan had succeeded, it would have made it a lot more difficult to sit here and discuss it 60 years later. Even worse, if he had blown up the world in 1967, I would have entered eternity without ever getting to kiss a girl. That would have been the greatest tragedy of all.
When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who chose to oppose his shield must yield. If he's led to a fight and a duel is due, then the red and the white and the blue will come through when Captain America throws his mighty shield.
Throw and wander. Wander pretty well against your... Look at the list.